Okay, let's see how long it has been since I last uploaded. Oh, oh wow. Been a long while since that whole debacle there. I guess it's time to dust off this script and begin editing a video for content's sake, I suppose. Oh, here we go. Ah, Sorcerers. The community's nicknamed Gimp Wizards, with all their blasting, crashing, and bashing in their acid fireballs. I kid. They're actually quite a force of nature, especially when you hand them a subtle fireball, a twin spell, mind spike, and heightened disintegrate. Yes, I am going to make every DM go through a war flashback, even mentioning those next to each other.
Cry about it.
Sorcerers are the raw magic casters imbued with the purest form of power, yet lacking their versatility of their more knowledgeable cousin. Although their flexibility is restrictive, their rigidity for partaking in defined spell lists can make them quite explosive when put in the right circumstances. This doesn't mean they are weak by any means, far from it. They got a peculiar gift to warp the very fabric of magic, which becomes the glue to a missing link sorely needed in an adventuring party. If there's one thing every sorcerer can be happy about, it's the fact that their source of magic is something even the most well-researched wizard are unable to master at will. The weave, the wellspring of raw magic every sorcerer innately tap into, does work within the most mysterious ways after all. Well, how do you become a sorcerer, you may ask? Well, similar to warlocks, actually. All sorcerers come from any walk of life, but unlike our pack magic pal that is given a magic sugar daddy for this, you don't find the power to become a sorcerer. Sorcery finds you. Quoting word for word from D&D Beyond here to emphasize this, no one chooses sorcery. The power chooses the sorcerer. Okay, they may be a little too similar to warlocks, now I think about it, but they are embroidered with power untold to them from something out of their know-how. Think of it as a bizarre surprise gift, which can originate from the most obscurest of places. It could be spurred from your bloodline from countless ancestors, to the very fathoms of Earth's core in some whack expedition to find out if it's solid or not. It literally could be whenever you take a big dump at some outhouse and suddenly your skin just starts shooting magic missiles everywhere after declaring no more Taco Bell. It's honestly super random, and with no way to predict its inherent chaotic nature, anyone can be a sorcerer. Anyone can by birth and by gift. But that's honestly a lie if you ask me. It's just predetermined fate and one serious stroke of luck to be a sorcerer. Every sorcerer gains their power from what is called the weave. Explaining what the weave is with lore in mind may last way too long for this video, but to boil it down, it's a force of nature sorcerers tap into in order to cast their spells. It's the rawest form of magic to exist for a caster, and the most chaotic in nature. They can bend any spells they cast into whatever they dictate, even casting 2 spells for the price of 1. Well, wizards may learn a thing or two from their more deranged chaos-born cousins now I think about it. Maybe they should. I actually like these guys a bunch. And once again, similar to the warlock, these charismatic fellows are an excellent choice for cross-classing. Super easy to learn magic system, super potent spellcasting, and equally as flexible for an origin story of how they suddenly obtained their magic. Could be something from some powerful deity who inadvertently influenced your body to produce magic within the campaign, a bloodline of ultra-powerful wizards and magical beings that spurred from inert forces back into your life, like some sort of Jonathan Joestar's distress beacon, to having a mean-ass lasagna at a diner that Tuesday night. It's instantaneous, or something slowly developing deep within, which could explain why whatever you touch turn into sheep. Okay. Enough of my fluff and my really shitty jokes. Let's get into what everyone clicked on this video for. At level 1, we got Sorcerous Origin. Oh, good lord. Already hitting one hell of a wall now, aren't we? It's one of the most simplistic things to elaborate, but god damn it, how there's so much work to go through here. Fuck. Similar to Warlocks, and I hope you aren't already annoyed by me saying this ad nauseum every minute, they get some funky, wacky, super cool magical paths they can choose from. As of this recording, Sorcerers have 8 official subclasses to choose from. We aren't going to cover the homebrew classes in this, even if I really do like Runechild. Someday for you, Runechild, Sorcerer. Someday. The subclasses go as this: Aberrant Mind, Clockwork Soul, Draconic Bloodline, Divine Soul, Lunar Sorcery, Shadow Sorcery, Storm Sorcery, and Wild Magic. Lots of insert adjective here sorcery names in this list we got here, don't we? We'll go through a relatively quick brush about these classes because, of course, we gotta do this again. It's gonna be a trend with every video involving levels now, aren't we? We gotta bear with it anyways. Can't wait to cry from looking at both wizards and clerics whenever that comes out. On the start of the list, Aberrant Mind Sorcerers are pretty much the result of WotC made the Great Old One Warlocks actually good. I know we're getting back into this subject matter again. Can't blame me with how nuts this subclass can get. What else can I explain about them? They can cast spells with their mind, an infinitely better thought shield, though without their damage reflection aspect. A shame, really. And the ability to unravel your being into a cosmic horror, creating singularities in their wake? What the fuck? Simply simple. And simply kick ass. What more is there to love? Next in line is the Clockwork Soul Sorcerers, the embodiment of law and order. They derive their power from Mechanus, and can fundamentally change an encounter when used correctly. I know, a little strange to insert that little text at the end, but it's true. They have wards to protect their friends, a serious clock blocker for the DM of removing both advantage and disadvantage to level the playing field. It can trigger the equivalent of throwing the meanest array of emerald splashes to ever grace this world for 1 minute. Just know that the moment you choose this subclass, your DM may or may not find some way to crush your ass to the negative plane for making the BVEG lose all the dramatic scenes. Just a word of advice there, that's all. Third on this list is Draconic Bloodline. At some point in your bloodline, or you somehow committed the impossible, you know who you are, you take the inherent traits of a dragon somewhere in your body and begin raising hell on some goblins. I mean, I don't necessarily have to make a fancy story with all of these, alright? They have a resistance to elements, have their ACs beefed up, and even provoke shock and awe of their powerful, probably weird, estranged dragon uncle in mid-flight. These guys are pretty straightforward, but you can't go wrong with something that does the job just right. Fourth on the list of our colorful cast of wacky subclasses is the beloved Divine Soul. Divine Soul Sorcerers are those who want to become a cleric, but wanted to play Sorcerer at the same time without multi-classing. Xanathar's Guide to Everything came in, and boom, pow, bam! Here we are. Hyperbole aside, Divine Soul Sorcerers have access to the cleric spell list, some juicy, empowering burst heals when the dice gods bless you, and literally defy death in an angelic state of divinity. Fifth on the list, and yes, we are halfway through this list, is Lunar Sorcery. These guys are pretty fresh, all things considered, and is based upon the phases of the moon. Kind of in the name there. These guys get a bunch of spells off the riff, depending on what phase of the moon you want to be, and are arguably the most mechanically dense of the official subclasses for sorcerers. There's a lot to break down with this class, but to grossly simplify, Lunar Sorcerers can choose whichever phase of the moon to gain certain benefits of that phase for the time being. It's actually quite similar to a Totem Barbarian when they rage. It ranges from simple reduction of metamagic costs with certain spell types to full-on forces of nature that would make an encounter go on their knees out of necrosis alone. Hot damn. Don't fuck with these guys. 6th on this list is Shadow Sorcery, the edgelord subclass of the bunch. There's always have to be something edgy in here, somewhere. There's always something edgy with these subclasses. There's always something edgy within each of these classes. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. Like, I swear to fucking God. I'm going off script. I'm going off script. There always had to be something. Their fonts of magic is sourced from the Shadowfell, and always has an alien aura around their presence, with the ability to cast darkness to and fro while moving through it like water. Peer through said darkness like some window, summon a hound at your side, and even resist death from merely stating no from an attack. These moody, brooding casters aren't anything to scoff at. Just make sure whenever you go into your umbral form, don't get stuck in someone's leg by mistake. You'll die pretty quick that way if you do. 7th on the list, almost done here, is Storm Sorcery. Storm Sorcery harnesses Mother Nature's wrath, thanks to air elementals, and enter a trance that, by the time you're done, everyone around you would be just charred by rogue lightning strikes. Storm Sorcerers can change the weather around them, gain resistance to both thunder and lightning with random lightning bolts shooting out of them, and invoke monsoons the moment you begin an atmospheric rift. As any Storm Sorcerer can tell you, you become one with the atmosphere when you start slinging spells. Harmony within, hurricane without, they say. A Storm Trance motto, after all. Finally! The last subclass on this list, and personally the most bombastic, is Wild Magic. Wild Magic sorcerers are the definition of a spellcaster being so uncontrollable, they become a chaotic ticking time bomb that could lead to an atom bomb dropping out of nowhere. Anytime they cast a spell, there's a random chance of another spell or another effect going off at the same time. These span from turning into a harmless potted plant, gaining the effects of maximizing dice with spellcasting, to literally warping gravity around you. They are unpredictable, and are the most deadly to an unprepared group when things go awry. They also can bend luck too. Okay, finally, we're actually done with that. Good lord, what fun would that be to do that all again. Maybe next time I'll just drop a snippet of what they're doing instead of quickly summarizing these. Anyways, also with level 1 is spellcasting. Spellcasting with sorcerers is actually pretty close to bards, all things considered. Unlike other classes, sorcerers have way less spells known, but with plenty of cantrips to employ. Leveling up their spells is straightforward, even granted the ability where they can choose to unlearn one spell to take another every level up, like warlocks and bards. Unlike bards, however, the sorcerer can only pick up one new spell when given the opportunity. Honestly, it's a big hindrance, and it really does suck to know this. However, as stated in the beginning of the video, what they lack in flexibility make up for unique ways to cast them. This is an excellent time to introduce the next thing. At level 2, you gain access to Fonts of Magic. Font of Magic is broken down to two things, and both of which are super simple to learn. One is Sorcery Point, something every sorcerer has, with its functionality being actually pretty close to Monk's Key. You get 1 point every level up, and have a variety of uses later down the line. The second is Flexible Casting, a really neat skill which can be utilized for either making sorcery points or creating a spell slot on the fly. Not much can be said here, as it's straight to the point, really. Each spell level has a sorcery point count, as shown within this chart. Simple enough. At level 3, you get access to the bread and butter of this class, Metamagic. Metamagic allows you to bend and twist spells at a whim, creating scenarios that could be nuclear. within an encounter. For example, twin spelling haste to give your martial classes a major leg up, or casting fireball, but instead of fire damage, it does necrotic damage instead through a transmute spell. This leads to the types of metamagic you can get. Oh boy, here we go. Lightning round, everyone! We'll heavily simplify what each one does starting from the top. Careful spell. Makes those you choose not be harmed by an AoE spell such as Fireball. Distant spell. Doubles the range of casted spell. Empowered spell. Rerolls damage and takes the new result instead as many times as your charisma modifier allows it. Extended spell. Extends a spell's duration and can span up to 24 hours if need be. Heightened spell. Enforces disadvantage on saving throws. Quicken spell. Makes a spell go from an action to a bonus action. Can be useful in a pinch whenever you're planning something else, but do keep in mind, you cannot cast another leveled spell when you do this. Seeking spell. You reroll the spell attack to see if you hit this time. Simple as is, to be honest. Subtle spell. Makes whatever you cast treated as silent, giving no chance to be counterspelled. Transmuted spell. Makes whatever damage on that spell become a different elemental damage type, like acid or cold. And finally, the big daddy of them all, Twin Spell. Allows you to cast 2 spells for the price of 1. This does not work with spells that hit multiple targets, or AoE spells in general, like Scorching Ray or Fireball. You get another choice of Metamagic at level 10 and level 17, so keep this in mind for the far future of the campaign. At level 4, you get Ability Score Improvement. Not much to say here, aside from either going for a feature or 2 more points into Charisma. The Ability Score Improvements are at level 4, level 8, level 12, level 16, and level 19. Also at level 4, you get an optional feat called Sorcerous Versatility. Ask your DM about this if you plan to utilize this. But every ability score improvement allows you to replace a metamagic option with another one. You can also choose to replace a cantrip with another one as well. Not much to elaborate here. At level 5, you get an optional feat called Magical Guidance. Once again, ask your DM about this one. But what it does is anytime you fail an ability check, you can spend a sorcery point to reroll that check, potentially making it a success instead. It's essentially the Indomitable class feat from Fighter, but as an expendable resource. At level 6, you gain access to... Oh. Alright, then. You get a Sorcerer's Origin feature. Same goes to level 14 and level 18. To be fair, the class features are actually pretty awesome, but nothing much to say about the base class. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. Level 20! Something all sorcerers strive for in their journey to become the strongest in their inherent mastery over the chaotic folds of the weave. Something that makes everyone bow down to you at a whim the mere moment you mention it. You gain access to Sorcerous Restoration. You regain 4 expended sorcery points when you finish a short rest. Wow. And here I thought the Warlock's level 20 was fucking terrible. This is just as bad, if arguably worse than Warlock's level 20. At least all their spell slots under 1 minute does have a use. A damn shame too, since their Sorcerer's Origin features kick serious ass around level 18. I guess I can now give my final bits of whatever I want to ramble about now. Sorcerers are quite a fantastic magic class, and under the right circumstances, can be one of the worst things a monster ever meets. Although fairly simple and lacking their flexible spellcasting like their wizardly cousins, they can make up for it in raw power that shall be given serious respect. Not much else to say about them, but I really do wish they have a little bit more to them in leveling. If only... I suppose this is the end of the video now. I really hope you actually enjoyed this. I'm aware that I've been away for posting another video, and I do have the Warlock subclasses scripts on the back burner. I do have that technically finished, but honestly, there's just so much to break down with that one. And ever since that whole fiasco way back with Wizards of the Coast, it's kind of why it honestly left me to stop working on the script. To be honest, it actually led me to stop because I was mortally afraid of what Wizards are gonna do with their license and, you know, the OGL stuff from way back. I'm glad that I actually am really glad that didn't lead to anything, because that would have been a monument and effigy of sorts to the events of like what was the past, and you know it sort of is now, but I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. I just need to say I'm sorry for not like releasing a video in a while, and the fact that I do have the Warlock's subclasses script ready is just I wanted to work on Sorcerers here because the video from XP to level 3, it's kind of the reason why I made this video here, is the video to XP to level 3 is extremely dated and actually does feel very, I'm not saying insulting, no, because Sorcerers do actually have their faults. But it honestly was pretty much like smearing the image of what Sorcerers can be. And I do like Sorcerers, it's just I don't like that video. It was not a great video in long term. Entertaining, sure, but it just kind of hurt the image of what they are. Especially if you ask some DMs about like encounters with Sorcerers, and under the right circumstances, they could be a threat to deal with, and they can literally erase encounters. I do have a story with that myself because I had that happen before within one of the campaigns, and it was both a sight to see and also a sight to be afraid of, because I didn't want to be in the brunt of that with AoE, because that wiped the encounter off the face of the map. Like, holy hell. I'm rambling. I am super sorry. But yeah, I just wanted to say I'm sorry, but at least I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really do hope that this helps you in the slightest, even if it's just very informational about like what Sorcerers are, because I just kind of wanted to do that. Okay. I think that's enough of me rambling now. Yeah. I guess I'll see the rest of you later then, on the next video, whenever that comes out, maybe in another 5 years or so. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a better time playing Sorcerer, and hope you guys learned something out of it with Sorcerers. Do give them a try, and seriously, do give Lunar Sorcerers a try as well. They're fun. Alright, thank you, that's all. Goodbye, everyone.